It's just some places I've been in whatever. I don't get the choice, it's always the staff that take the choice off you. But now, since I met Patricia, she gives me that choice. Either to leave it or take it forward.
If he does need a bit of support and a bit of backup, we're here to do that. And that we will sort of, stand shoulder to shoulder with him if we have to. I think that's the important thing about advocacy.
ACE advocacy is all about giving a voice to people with learning disabilities, putting them at the centre of decisions about their lives, ensuring they no longer suffer the exclusion and sense of powerlessness Gary endured during his years in long-stay hospital.
This is Fairfield Cottage, where I spent most of my time. It was just the way the community was in the days. And with learning disabilities or severe disability or whatever, they just shoved them away in hospital. It was really depressing. A couple of times I had meetings in here and you felt as if they weren't listening, and they were listening to staff more than yourself. Because you get learning disabilities and whatever. Nobody should have lived like this. Patricia's helped me quite a lot, and so has other people that work in the advocate office. Best is having your own house and getting out in the community, doing things in the community and whatever. Came a long way.
For people like Gary, moving into the community is only the first step towards real independence.
Everything's okay?
Everything's
Fine.
Here at the ACE Advocacy Project in East Kilbride, Patricia is helping him establish the life he wants to live and plan for the future.
Okay. Anyone in the project that's around will support Gary to, talk about anything that might be troubling him. And I suppose it's important to have someone you can sound off to.
Trust as well. You've got to be able to trust a person to say, right, should decision what we do here.
And do you think that's made your life better?
So far so good. It's made it better than what it was.
I think we have got mutual trust and confidence in each other.
Yep.
ACE Advocacy's vision is that all people with learning disabilities across Scotland should have access to high-quality specialist independent advocacy. To this end, they work with people in institutional and community settings. Here at Merchiston Hospital, Martin and his team have been helping residents move into their own homes.
It was recognised that it was very important to have an independent advocacy service, to ensure that residents actually had a voice in the whole process, and to ensure that their rights are actually being upheld throughout the process.
Having an advocate who can make sure your voice is heard is particularly important for someone like Tommy, whose strong opinions, because of his communication difficulties, had often been overlooked.
Hello Tommy, how are you keeping? Tommy was in hospital for many years. I got to know him soon after our project started. You remember you used to come round for a cup of tea? Walking on these two sticks. It took you quite a long time to get to my office. Over a period of time, I got to know him very well. He is a man who has communication difficulties, so it took me a while to be able to tune into what he was saying. But it soon became very clear that his greatest wish was to leave the hospital. We took the opportunity of the Mental Welfare Commission making their annual visit to the hospital, and Tommy asked to be able to see them, and I sat in on the interview and helped to translate what Tommy was saying. And do you remember we had a meeting with the Mental Welfare Commission? Do you remember what you asked them? You wanted to get a house of your own. And it was only a few months after that, Tommy, that you got here. I think you've got a lot more out of life since you've moved here. I would say it's probably now recognised that for people who do have severe communication difficulties, these are some of the people who are most vulnerable in society and are most likely not to have their their individual needs and wishes listened to. And therefore the role of the advocate becomes even more critical.
Expertise gained through years of working with people with communication problems means ACE advocacy can ensure someone like Tommy can make his views known and exercise choice over his support package.
Even though they're in the community, the care is still provided by an organisation which sometimes doesn't necessarily fit in with precisely what the individual wants. An advocate is never confined by this. There are never any conflicts of interest because the advocate, independent advocate, is there just for the person they're advocating for.
Ensuring that the voices of people with learning disabilities are heard and acted on can sometimes lead to conflict with other professionals, but ACE advocacy has always worked hard to create mutual understanding.
Nursing staff seen as a threat. They questioned your validity. You hardly know this person. Who are you to talk for him? How do you know what's best? But it did turn around on both sides. Everybody started trying to work together for the good of the people that lived here.
I expect and I hope that everybody has the same kind of standard of life that I have, and they have the ability to do the things that I do quite freely without anyone else deciding what I do or what I don't do. And sometimes that doesn't happen from advocacy partners, and they are happy with the types of service that they receive. I may not believe they're good enough, but I'm bound by listening to what my advocacy partner's telling me. I think it's dead important to emphasise that our advocacy partners are the people that we listen to, and we take instruction from them, and the outcomes that we secure or don't secure for that matter are determined by them, not by us.
Have we still got them?
ACE advocacy is working with other professionals to move residents at Kirkland's Hospital into the community. While they're waiting, one-to-one advocacy and group advocacy provided by the Residents' Council ensures they're able to make their voices heard and influence the day-to-day running of the hospital.
Are you upset this morning because you never got a shave?
Aye.
What about you, Robert?
They've got me. I've got look.
How can we make sure Robert gets to shave himself, John? Who would you speak to?
My auntie.
So you can tell your family that you wanted to shave yourself. And else you can ask Andrew?
Advocate.
That's your advocate, Mr. What's his first name?
Tommy.
Tommy. Even ask the nursing staff because they might not know that Robert wants to shave himself.
One of the first things we managed to do as a group was to get a member of the senior management to attend at the end of every meeting. Things started to change, small victories, because people began to listen to what they were saying. Small changes became big changes. People grew in a self-advocacy role.
Well, we take it for this meeting then, that people want to do more things themselves, they should be asked. Who would like to talk to the management about it? Right, so Robert, John and Michael will come with me, we'll talk to the management, and we'll tell them we want a choice and when to shave.
The biggest challenge I seen was to facilitate communication with people that had the power to change things, with the people that were asking for change. And if that wasn't happening, there was going to be no change. And when that kind of clicked into place, and it was a forward-thinking management, which were quite open to ideas and discussions. We opened doors that were locked.
Hi. Oh, hello, Denise.
And the council learned through time that sometimes the answer we got were no. But that was, at least we were getting an answer. And some of the good things and the major things we fought for, they came out.
Basically, you'd like to shave yourself in the morning rather than have somebody shave you?
Yes, I like to take myself.
Yeah, and what happens now? What shave do you get in the morning?
It's a wet shaver in the morning.
And you would like to do it yourself with an electric shaver?
I like to do it myself with electric.
Has anybody ever shown you how to use your electric shaver?
I've got a wee button one.
Right.
I could use that one.
Okay then.
Try that.
Well, what we'll do then is I'll when I go away from here, is I'll speak to Patsy about getting somebody to review your care plan for you. Okay? And I'll ask her to specifically to look at your shaving. Okay? And then they can talk with you and your advocate about how we can help you to be more independent in that way.
It might be good to look at other men in the hospital. Every man, because the Residents' Council highlights maybe issues that affects everybody. Right, so you happy with that, Robert? And during the meetings at the council you can tell us what's happening. Tell us how you're getting on with that.
People now get a much more person-centred service because of advocacy. They are the voice of people who can't speak for themselves, who can't get across easily what it is that they want. And they're also helpful to help people work out what it is that they need and be able to make choices. So I think they're essential to people's well-being and to people being able to get a future that they want.
Through experience gained working in institutions like this, as well as in the community, ACE Advocacy has developed skills in working with a wide range of people from diverse backgrounds and with various levels of need.
There is this view that nurses, in particular ones that work in psychiatry and learning disabilities, can advocate for clients. But the reality is it's an independent voice, and it's independent of people who provide services to people. And I think if you can get across to nurses that actually they are advocates, are good allies, and the more access people have to individuals who've got their interests at heart, the healthier it is anyway.
Staff actively seek us out now if there is an issue for people that know. They've even asked us about people that know in the community that might need advocacy, and most of the referrals will come. It's staff will phone up, nurses and that will phone up and say we need your help.
ACE Advocacy knows that after years of institutional life, these residents will need ongoing support if they are to achieve a decent quality of life in the community. To boost skills and confidence, they have enlisted the help of local police in setting up an award-winning educational role-play project.
Hi, how are you? The role plays were very extensive. We covered bullying, security in the street, being approached in the street, and safety in the home. The residents within here at some point are going back into the community. And having those links, it's about breaking down barriers and people understanding the needs of people who have learning disabilities.
Michael came to ACE Advocacy with a much more complicated problem, one which had robbed him of valued employment.
Michael was unfairly dismissed.
The way I was treated.
And under disability discrimination legislation, they should have put in some reasonable adjustments to allow Michael to do his job properly. That didn't happen. We sacked him, and we decided that we would appeal that and go to a tribunal. Fortunately, Michael, they settled with you out of court.
They settled out of court, because the lawyer came out here, and then me and you had a chat with him and we discussed everything into the open.
It was a fairly successful outcome for Michael. And following that, Michael, I suppose after that, the advocacy's been about securing a college place for you, a college place that you want to do.
Me and Patricia sat down and discussed what I wanted to do at college, and I've been there since August 2003. I've got this job that keeps me occupied.
He's became a workaholic. Michael loves to work with people. That's his strong point. We depend on Michael now to come.
With the help of ACE Advocacy, Michael feels he has regained control of his life. He's secured a job he enjoys and is good at. He's gaining qualifications and is planning for the future. It's giving people like Michael and James the power to exercise choice over their lives, which makes ACE Advocacy such a powerful tool for change.
What days is it you work Monday?
Mondays, Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Good. You happy with that?
Aye.
James used to take jobs that people gave him. But James used to say, I want to wash cars with Patricia's advocate at the time. He helped him look for a place where he could do what he wanted to do.
I like car washing. Patricia helped me, the car washing. Doing good. I good money.
The extra money's going to get you a wee holiday, another holiday, is it no? Where are you going?
In Spain.
Next month?
Next month.
Yeah. And your job helped you. Can I pay for that, is it?
Aye.
Yeah, there you go. You're happy we're going to Spain today? Did you choose Spain?
I chose it.
Yeah. Before that, people would tell you you were going on holiday.
Aye, on holiday.
And that's the difference. James picked his holiday this time, so that's what advocacy can help people do. Right? I'll let you go now. Right, James. I'll see you later.
Right, Jim.
Complementing the work of professional advocates, volunteer advocates can, with backup and training from the organisation, provide an equally valuable service.
My role is to provide Mary with just some extra support. I have helped Mary to write letters applying for jobs, and as far as Mary applying for benefits is concerned, all I have done there is made Mary aware of the rights she has.
I wouldn't have known about it without a help at all. Citizen advocacy can look at outcomes and try and make sure that someone's supported to make a change in their lives. But a citizen advocate can also have a much more long-term and much more enduring partnership than a professional advocate has. With citizen advocacy, it can last as long as both parties wish it to continue. That's the real difference. It's about having a long-term and enduring partnership.
I get an invite, I go up for my dinner. Sometimes go up for a coffee.
As time has progressed with our relationship, we've become friends.
Yeah.
And it's a pleasure, I hope for Mary, but it's a pleasure for me to get out with Mary.
I go shopping with her.
We like to go shopping, it gives us both much pleasure.
It's better fun for the company. I need advice to get nice outfits.
Volunteer advocacy, professional advocacy, group advocacy. ACE advocacy sees them all as working towards the same end, to empower and build up the confidence and skills of people with learning disabilities.
Does everybody want to go to EGM?
Yes.
Yes. Gary himself exemplifies the power of skilled advocacy. Once totally disempowered, he is now taking on a management role within ACE advocacy.
I think it's only right and proper that people with learning disabilities then direct the way that advocacy will be delivered.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to the first ever ACE Advocacy AGM. Our vision is that everyone with a learning difficulty in Scotland who wants to have an advocate should be able to get one.
In Perth, the board of ACE Advocacy, people with learning disabilities and professionals who advise on financial and management matters gathers together from all over Scotland for its AGM.
The chair of ACE Advocacy has a learning disability and is a very experienced young man, knows a lot about services and service systems. I think that's a good start.
Anybody's got any questions? Don't know, speak it
I'm certain that all members of the ACE Advocacy Board will make sure it's not a tokenistic forum, that people have the ability and the opportunity to make real choices and, as I say, influence the way that services are delivered.
I'll motion that.
Gary is today voted onto the board, yet another step in the journey on which ACE Advocacy has helped launch him.
Thank you very much.
Hope you enjoy it.
I will.
And sure you'll get a better support from everybody. ACE Advocacy will benefit with them on the company. It's gone a long way. It's got a long way to go, but I think it's going to be something very big in the next few 10, 15 years. Long after I've left, it'll be quite a big company, and it's a very important company too.